How's it going, guys, and welcome back to another episode of Lake Life Fishing. Today I'm going to be reviewing and showing you how to set up one of these Danchel Outdoors car awnings. Let's get into it. Okay, for you guys to get a better visual, I decided to put my camera on top of my hat. That way you guys can see exactly what I'm seeing. You can see what my hands are doing in every little part that I'm working with. Let's get to it. So the first thing you're going to want to do is there's two zippers on this. You're going to want to unzip this all the way to the end. Just like that. Now this whole thing is going to come up kind of like a clamshell. Just like that. You can tuck it back if you like, you don't have to. Now as you can see, we have 1, 2, and 3 straps holding the awning actually to the mount. What we're going to do is we're going to take off this one first and this one. So we just have the middle one, and that's the easiest way of doing it. Let this one go, and then it's free falling. I'm going to put it up here, and you can see there's 2 poles inside of the main mount. I'm going to twist those. The pole's going to come out, and you're just going to send it out this way. Do the same thing with this one. Twist it, let it come out, just like that. Now we're going to take our tarp, we're just going to let it come down. And now you can see how I have this wrapped. This makes it a whole lot easier to unravel it when you're setting it up versus raveling it, you know, this way compared to this way. Much easier. It just unrolls in your hands. Okay, now what we're going to do, now this is all unrolled, is we're going to come over, and don't worry, this is actually pretty light, so it's not too hard to grab onto. Try to get underneath here. You can see right here we have a little hole there for this pin right here. I'm going to put that pin in. Okay, tighten the pole, come over to the other side, do the exact same thing. Okay, and now we have it attached. So now we have our 2 supporting poles attached. I'm going to put the legs down, which are just stationed right here. And the wind's grabbing me a little bit. And these poles operate the exact same way. You're just going to twist them, drop them down, twist, drop down. At this point, you're just going to adjust it to your desired height because it's a little bit windier now. I'm going to lower this just a little bit. Okay. And just like that, you have it set up, but we're not done just yet. For added support for your tarp, there's all these Velcro pieces here. 4 of them to be exact on each side. I'm just going to do every single one of them. And this just adds a little more rigidity to your tarp, canvas, whatever you want to call it, your covering. It doesn't allow it to flop in the wind as much. And it is a little bit windy out. I'd say there's probably a good 10 to 15 mile per hour wind going on right now, and this thing isn't whipping around too crazy, so it's actually pretty sturdy. Next thing I'm going to do is, because there's a little bit of sag in this, I'm actually just going to take this pole once again, unscrew it, really pull on it, tighten that thing. I really want to get this tight. Look at that. Really get it tight, and boom. Perfect. It's actually sprinkling a little bit right now, so this is actually perfect. Now the last thing for setting up this tarp, and I actually don't have them with me currently right now. I actually don't know where I put them. I've never used them before. So this canopy comes with some paracord and 2 stakes that you can put in the ground. You can tie the paracord right here to these 2 blue loops that are on both sides of the tarp. And you're just going to run your paracord down pretty much and stake that into the ground to give it a little more support, especially in a day like this when it's a little bit more windy. The wind just died all of a sudden. I think there's a bigger storm coming. Let's just give you a little more security so it's not, you know, blowing all over the place. As you can see, this thing is pretty sturdy once you have it set up. These poles going across really give it rigidity. And you can also bend these poles in different positions as well if you want. You could put them like this, and that'll give you a little more rigidity, I guess, as far as moving around. So now moving on to the build quality of these awnings. These aren't super expensive awnings or anything. As you can see, it's pretty much just pretty cheap tarp. It's just some fabric with some waterproofing on this side of the tarp. It's not even on the top side, at least I can't feel any. So it's not the most expensive material or anything, but it does hold up for the price. And the same goes with these poles. These aluminum poles are not the most expensive thing. The bolts and everything are not super expensive. Nothing on here is worth a ton of money. I mean, if I really wanted to, I could snap this pole in half by breaking it over my knee pretty easily. It is aluminum, thin aluminum at that. The one thing that is a little bit thicker is these guys right here, and the brackets that come with it that you can mount to your vehicle are pretty decent as well. Now, for the most part, most of these awnings that you're going to find on Amazon for below $200 are pretty much all the same. Cheap materials, the tarps are pretty much going to be exactly the same. The poles are going to be exactly the same. It's going to be pretty much a cookie cutter. The only difference that you're really going to find, and that I've seen, is the fact that usually this is different and what covers it is different. My father has one of these on his van, and his is slightly different than mine. His does not have the straps on the inside. His is simply just one of these rubber bags that goes around the tarp, and then you have buckles on the outside of the bag instead of the inside. Now, while the build quality might not be the best thing in the world, it is still pretty decent for what I paid for this. This awning, I believe when I bought this, was $169. Nice. And pretty much all these awnings are going to range around that same price. I believe the Yescom brand awnings, which are a little higher rated, I don't think they're made out of any better materials from what I've heard. I believe those are around $200. I don't believe there's any build quality difference in those awnings compared to this brand or even some of the other cheaper brands. I can't name any of the cheaper brands offhand right now, but I believe the cheapest awning of this type that you can buy on Amazon right now is about $140, which is pretty cheap. And if you're just looking for something to get you out of the sun or the rain, one of these awnings is definitely the way to go, especially considering the fact that some of the more expensive awnings are going to run you around $400 to $500. Now, as far as dimensions go on this awning particular, I'm going to measure it for you right now real quick. And it looks like you're getting about roughly 8'5" lengthwise on this particular awning. And you're getting about 6'6" for as far as width goes. And as far as the height goes, we have the poles fully extended right now. About 7 feet. So about 7 feet is about as high as you can go with these poles fully extended at their max. Again, when it comes to the back, it all depends on the height of your vehicle. If you have a car, it's obviously going to be much shorter, like a Subaru or something. I have a 2003 Chevy Astra van, so mine's going to be a little bit taller than those vehicles, of course. Well, there you have it. That is my review of the Danchel Outdoors car awning. And it's a good thing I have this set up because it looks like it's about to rain. I hope that this video helped you decide whether one of these Amazon awnings is the right fit for you and your lifestyle. If you like this video, remember to hit that like button and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.